Dear viewers, the topic which we will cover today is China's growing assertion in Xinjiang region. In the last 8 years, China has tried its level best to enhance its influence, its power in the Xinjiang region, which is western part of China. The Chinese President Xi Jinping, he visited Xinjiang after 8 years and recently, and during his visit, he made it clear that China will do its utmost, that is, his government will utilize all the resources for the development of Xinjiang, because Xinjiang is strategically, economically very vital for communist China. And it is a region, Xinjiang is a region where once upon a time, that is 100 years ago, even 60 years ago, the majority of the population was composed of Uyghur Muslims. But then the transformation took place. With the settlement, millions and millions of Chinese, Han-Chinese, were settled in Xinjiang region, so as to turn the majority into a minority, which they succeeded. That Urumqi, which is the capital of Xinjiang, doesn't look like a Muslim Chinese Central Asian region. No. It looks like a Chinese city. Kashgar, which is further south, has still retained its traditional outlook, but over there also the Chinese influence is apparent. It's very obvious. Xinjiang is basically significant, essential, vital, useful for China because of mineral resources: uranium, oil, coal, iron. And then it is also a bridge between what we call as Belt and Road Initiative, BRI, and China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. So that is how the Chinese president, during his visit to Xinjiang, he basically emphasized on development. And then he openly criticized those forces who were trying to promote separatism, extremism, and terrorism. And for that matter, East Turkestan Islamic Movement, that movement which challenges, or which is challenging the Chinese authority in Xinjiang. A lot of incidents took place in Xinjiang, and China was blamed and is being blamed of genocide of Uyghur Muslims, of establishing concentration camps. But China rejects all such allegations and says that these are not concentration camps but rehabilitation centers for the transformation of Uyghur Muslims. So therefore, before the holding of 20th Party Congress of Chinese Communist Party, 20th Party Congress, the Chinese president visited Xinjiang. The West, particularly the United States, they're trying their level best to discredit China as far as Xinjiang is concerned, that China is involved in massive human rights violations in Xinjiang, has suppressed the local population, is suppressing their religious, cultural values, which China rejects. Furthermore, the visit of the Chinese president uh, took place after he had been he celebrated 25 years of Hong Kong's accession to China. That Hong Kong in 1997 became part of China, but not a full part of China. And in Hong Kong, the Chinese authorities are facing problems, pro-democracy forces. So therefore, one can say that there are rather three undersoft bellies of China. The first is Xinjiang, because of its ethnic, religious diversification. The second is Tibet, and the fact that how China occupied Tibet, annexed Tibet, and the third is Hong Kong, that although it was handed over back to China in 1997, and then these are the three undersoft bellies, and the West is trying its level best that one way to deal with the Chinese menace is growing economy, and then its strategic partnership with Russia is to promote those forces, anti-Chinese forces in Xinjiang, Tibet, and Hong Kong. So Xinjiang is, of course, a big challenge for the Chinese government. But the fact is basically that the very process of modernization, whether in Tibet or Xinjiang, these places, it took place as a result of the policies of China. Replacing the medieval lifestyle with the modern lifestyle. Infrastructure, modern infrastructure, railways, roads, markets. That is what China has done. So what's wrong in that? The only thing is basically that the manner in which, as it has been alleged, that the Chinese authorities are trying to brainwash the local people of Xinjiang in order to eradicate their lingual, religious, and cultural heritage. That is something which has been going on. And China knows very well that its eastern part, its southern part, these two parts are not developed. Now it should focus on Xinjiang, and from there, it has borders with Central Asian states and in Pakistan. So the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, the Belt and Road Initiative. But for that matter, the Chinese government is not willing to compromise as far as the forces of separatism are concerned. The Xinjiang would always remain an integral part of China, although a sizable population of Xinjiang doesn't want to be part of China. They want to be independent. But they know very well that they cannot cope with the Chinese power. And no country but the West is very far. United States and Europe, these countries are very far, who are supportive as far as the plight of the Uyghur Muslims concerned. So President Xi Jinping, during his recent visit to Xinjiang, he was confident that while he was basically, visiting Urumqi, the capital of Xinjiang, and he made it clear that development, stability, peace, these are the fundamental requirements people of Xinjiang. Otherwise, the alternate is chaos and disorder and violence. which will not be allowed. And for that matter, China has an agreement, not a written agreement, but an understanding with Russia. Both Russia and China under Shanghai Cooperation Organization. They frequently talk about suppressing separatism, terrorism, and extremism. That they will not allow, because Russia is also facing more or less the same problem. For that matter, the Chinese, they want to use their influence for the modernization, for the development, Xinjiang, so that Xinjiang is at par with other developed parts of China. And when you have development and when you have modernization, suddenly the forces of extremism and separatism and violence and terrorism will lose their influence. Thank you very much.